Вот один лежит, вон второй лежит.
Explosions in Russia's Vladivostok damaged a gas pipeline and destroyed a water pipeline that supplied military facilities in the area. A source in Ukraine's military intelligence told the Kyiv Independent. A fire followed the explosions and destroyed sections of the Vladivostok gas pipeline along the Sea of Japan, the source said. The blasts occurred early on July 5th, between 1 and 2 a.m., with Russian special services and repair teams arriving shortly after. The damaged pipeline provides gas to several Russian military facilities on the coast of the Sea of Japan, including the 155th Marine Brigade of the Pacific Fleet of the Russian Armed Forces, the source told the Kyiv Independent. The water pipeline destroyed in the explosion provided drinking water to military garrisons in the area. In order to hide information from the local population, local special services turned off mobile internet and communications in the area, the source added. Ukraine regularly strikes military targets deep within Russian territory in an effort to diminish Moscow's fighting power. Ukraine struck the Borysoglebsk airfield in Russia's Voronezh Oblast overnight on July 5th, damaging a warehouse containing guided bombs, aircraft, and other military assets, Ukraine's general staff reported. The attack on the airfield was part of a larger overnight drone assault across Russia, with explosions and fires reported in at least 6 regions. Satellite images confirm a totally wrecked place where once was an ammo depot in Kharkiv. Satellite images from Dnipro-Osynt show what remains of Russian ammunition depots near occupied Kharkiv after drone strikes by Ukraine's security service. Workers at the giant KAMAZ vehicle plant in Naberezhnya Chelny, Russia, have been banned from bringing in purchased food due to fears of being poisoned by Ukrainians. The move likely reflects increasing official paranoia about Ukrainian sabotage attacks deep inside Russia. The Vesti KAMAZ newspaper reports. At the facilities of PJSC KAMAZ in Naberezhnya Chelny, a temporary ban on bringing in food products has been introduced by order on ensuring biological and chemical safety of workers. Until this measure is cancelled, which will be announced by a separate order, KAMAZ workers are not allowed to bring in either ordered or store-bought food into the buildings, with the exception of containers with home-cooked food and for personal consumption. The ban also applies to industrial goods, except for those required to perform official duties. The adopted restriction in the document is explained by the need to prevent potential threats of mass poisoning, taking into account the political situation and the likelihood of sabotage against the backdrop of a special military operation in Ukraine. There have been instances of Russian soldiers in occupied regions of Ukraine being killed or injured by poisoned food and water, likely the result of Ukrainian partisan activity. However, such incidents haven't been reported in Russia itself. RBC hints at a connection with a recent arrest in Naberezhnya Chelny. On 1 July, a 51-year-old resident of the city was arrested on charges of attempted murder and treason for allegedly collecting information against an individual on behalf of the Ukrainian Special Services. KAMAZ is a hugely important supplier for the Russian military. Its iconic trucks are a backbone of Russian army logistics, so disruption at its main plant would undoubtedly be seen as a serious problem. Ukrainian drone operators took out Russian occupiers who went for a ride convertible style, climbing out through the rear window of their vehicle. Ukrainian forces have refined a deadly tactic using FPV drones to hunt down Russian troops with precision and speed. These fast, low-flying drones are piloted manually and equipped with explosive warheads, allowing operators to strike enemy soldiers even in trenches or behind cover. Scouts often spot targets, then coordinate real-time drone strikes within minutes. This tactic is especially effective in close-quarters battles, where artillery is less precise. It's a low-cost, high-impact method that disrupts Russian movements, inflicts constant pressure, and forces the enemy to stay hidden or risk being eliminated from the sky. The conflict between Azerbaijan and Russia continues. Elshan Ibragimov, leader of the Azerbaijani diaspora in the Moscow region, said that he had been stripped of his Russian citizenship. When asked by Azerbaijani media, "What do you attribute this decision by the Russian authorities to?" he said that he would be returning to his homeland in a few days and would comment then. According to Russian media, on June 18th, the Moscow police summoned Ibragimov to the police station in his place of residence and confiscated his Russian passport for committing acts that pose a threat to the national security of the Russian Federation.
Справка о прекращении Гражданской Федерации. Настоящим удостоверяют, что в соответствии с решением МВД России в Московской области Ибрагимов Ильшан Мустафа Агу, Красный Варяг, 67 года рождения, уроженец села Мюсюсли, района Уджак, Азербайджанской ССР, это вы. Да. Вот. В соответствии с подпунктом Б пункта 2 части 1 статьи 20 Федерального закона РФ от 28.06.23 года номер 138, вы не являетесь гражданином Российской Федерации с 18.06.25 года. Мы вас изымаем документ.
53% of American companies in Ukraine have incurred losses and damages due to Russian strikes, said Andriy Hunder, president of the American Chamber of Commerce in Ukraine. In an interview with Radio Liberty, he said that among the member companies of the ACC, 60% have had employees killed during this war. Therefore, we ask the American administration, the White House, continue to provide protection to safeguard Ukraine, Ukrainians, and the businesses that are operating here in Ukraine today, Hunder said. He added that he had already had a meeting during which the continuation of military aid to Ukraine was discussed, and expressed hope that the U.S. administration would listen to the voice of American business.
Woman, could you please tell us more about the behind the scenes of that meeting that took place in the office of the president? What did the president want to discuss? Tell us.
Gentlemen, the business gathered just before Independence Day. Why? Because we want to convey the voice of business, American business, which is operating today in Ukraine. That is 600 companies that are members of the American Chamber of Commerce. 90% continue to operate. You see, these companies are in Ukraine, they believe in Ukraine, and they are working, they are investing in Ukraine. And exactly, we wanted to convey this message of American business to the White House, to the president, to the administration, that right here, our people are being hit. American business is being hit. 53% of our companies, the percentage that suffered damage, were hit by various rockets on specifically on enterprises, on offices, on factories. These nights, which were here in the center of Kyiv, we all feel it. And this causes harm, kills Ukrainians. Among member companies of the American Chamber of Commerce, 60% of the companies have instances where employees have died during this war. That we convey this message, and that's why we say we ask the American administration, we ask the White House to continue providing protection, defense, to protect Ukraine, to protect Ukrainians, and to protect this business, including this American business that is operating in Ukraine today.
A little girl reunites with her dad after 2 years in Russian captivity. One of the most emotional moments from the July 4th prisoner exchange. The French Navy has accepted the third Tourville nuclear attack submarine of the Suffren project into the fleet. This was announced by the Minister of the French Armed Forces, Sébastien Lecornu, during the official announcement of the acceptance of the boat into the fleet. This happened after a year of testing and completion, which were carried out at the Naval Group Shipyard, the main manufacturer of submarines of this type. The construction of the ship began on June 28, 2011, at the shipyard in Cherbourg. After a 10-year assembly process, the hull was taken out of the shop on July 20th, 2023, and on April 24, 2024, the first nuclear criticality was reached on board the K-15 reactor, marking preparation for sea trials. Tourville's first sea trials took place on July 12, 2024, in the English Channel. On July 17th, the boat made its first dive. By the end of the month, it returned to Cherbourg for refinement. After completing a series of sea trials and combat tests, Tourville was officially handed over to the French Navy on November 16, 2024, and on November 27th, arrived at the base port in Toulon, where it underwent final improvements in dry dock. On July 5, 2025, the minister announced the official acceptance of the boat into the fleet. It was made fully operational for combat use anywhere in the world. Tourville has a displacement of about 4,700 tons in the surface position and more than 5,200 tons in the submerged position. The length is approximately 99 meters. Thanks to the K-15 nuclear reactor, the submarine has an almost unlimited range, limited only by food supplies and crew endurance, up to about 70 days of autonomous navigation. The underwater speed exceeds 25 knots, and the immersion depth is over 350 meters. The crew consists of approximately 65 people, with the ability to accommodate an additional group of special forces. Tourville's armament includes modern 533mm heavy F-21 Artemis torpedoes, Exocet SM-39 anti-ship missiles, and MDCN cruise missiles, capable of hitting ground targets at a range of up to 1,000 kilometers. In addition to strike weapons, the boat is equipped with the latest hydroacoustic equipment, digital fire control systems, has a reduced acoustic profile, and the ability to land divers or special forces. Earlier, Militarny reported that a steel cutting ceremony had been held at the Naval Group shipyard for the construction of a new generation nuclear submarine with ballistic missiles of the SNLE-3G program.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.